Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your listening and viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships, whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind. God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you will save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And right now, if you order a case of Earth's finest water from FijiWater.com, you will receive a 50% discount on a second case for the 4th of July holiday, which is coming tomorrow. Well, which is coming tomorrow. Kind of dated the broadcast, but nonetheless, go to FijiWater.com. The code is fireworks, and you can order one case of Fiji water, receive a second case for 50% off at FijiWater.com. I'm checking our technology here. We had a little glitch today, and it actually went live because we were scheduled to go live for our 1 hour broadcast starting today. However, that date has been moved because we were busy with moving into our main sanctuary on this Sunday, and we had a glorious time at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. And to all of you who were in attendance yesterday, we were just excited to be together. God has moved and is moving, and we are moving with God. And so for those of you who desired to tune in yesterday, unfortunately we were not live streaming yesterday because we still have technology transition that has to occur. And we are just excited for all of you who have responded on Facebook to just share how excited you are about what God is doing. So we're actually going to be going live for our 1 hour broadcast starting next Monday, which is 7/7, July the 7th. You asked for it, you have it, but we had to change the date because there was just so much to do to prepare for the move of God. And it was an exciting time. So thank all of you for your continued encouragement, support, and encouragement, prayers, and support. And we thank all of you for being with us at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809, where I serve as senior pastor, and we are there every Sunday at 10 a.m. Service begins. We invite you, if you're in our area, to come and experience a better quality of life at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. And for all of you who continue giving on the give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you who continue giving on the contribution pages of our websites at newlifeministriesinternational.com and newlifeinternationalcdc.com, and those of you who use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook and YouTube, we thank all of you for your continued support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to do all that God has called us to do. And so I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers today who indicated that you are having difficulties in the family business. You said you all find it difficult to exist without constant conflict. So your question was, how do you get everyone on the same page? So let me break this out for you. The reality is that what God has done in your life is truly amazing. You have a family business. You don't want that to be destroyed, and you don't want that to implode by being in constant conflict. The Bible says to us that a house divided cannot stand. And every city or country divided against itself shall be brought to desolation. So you got to recognize that what God has done is truly amazing, but it's important to keep that together. It's important to make certain that it's not divided. So let's talk about that. First and foremost, all of you have to accept the fact that it's none of you that has done this. It is God working in you and through you. And that's the first step to resolving the constant conflict. No one person is responsible for what God has done. You all are being used by God to accomplish something great for your family. Then the next step you have to take is each one of you have to stay in your lane. Now, let me share with you the revelation of God for all of this. So we could turn to the corporate environment, but let's stay in the spiritual realm of what God does decently and in order. So every one of you has a gift and talent. You all have merged your gifts and talents together to perform what God has for all of you. So it's important to realize that. But you got to stay in your lane. And what that means is each one of you has to recognize your gift, your talent, and you have to recognize the gift and talent of your siblings, of your parents, of whoever is involved in the business from a family perspective. And then what you have to do is you have to say, okay, because this is my role, and this is my siblings' role, and this is my parents' role, or whomever is involved in the business. Everyone has to focus on their role, focus on their assignment from God. So you have your CEO, you have your CFO, you have your COO. You have to let everyone do their job and stop crossing over into everyone else's lane. Now, that doesn't mean that when you have board meetings or you have team meetings, it doesn't mean that you cannot participate in the discussion and come up with suggestions and ideas. What it means is that you still have to stay in your position. You have to stay in your lane. And so when you are sharing ideas or listening and analyzing what's being done and learning how you might be able to help in other areas, or because your position, your role will allow you to make someone else's role stronger, strengthen that role. That's all you are assigned to do by God. You're not assigned to try and do your position and someone else in the family's position also. That's what I mean when I say you've got to stay in your lane. You got to know exactly what your lane is, and you've got to run your race in that lane. And what I mean is you've got to do your job. And then you come together as a family for meetings, and you sit down and you decide what's going to make the company stronger, what's going to help others perform at a higher level, peak performance. You're gonna have those meetings. And I'm going to encourage all of us to do this. One of the things that I've often told my family is we have to treat our personal lives like a corporation. We have to operate our personal lives like a corporation. We have to operate our family like a corporation. And if you do that, you'll learn how to conduct a family business. because everyone will know what their role is. You're going to have the chief executive officer. You're going to have the chief financial officer. You're going to have the chief operating officer. You're going to have you're going to have the CIO, who is your chief investment officer. You're going to have the CTO, who's going to be your chief technology officer. But everyone has a role. Others can learn how they can make those roles stronger, more effective, more efficient. But you don't want to cross over into someone else's lane. It's not your job to do their job. It's your job to make certain that you participate in making the family business stronger. That's how you get everyone on the same page. So I'm going to suggest to you that you remind everyone, because you're in a family business together, to run, even though it's separate households, it's still one family corporation. Your goal is to make your family not only solvent, but stronger, build wealth, preserve the wealth. That's what you are working for. But you have to have those conversations. And it can't be conflict. It has to be, it can't always be, there's a battle today. You can't go around starting the war. You can't be that. It can't be your responsibility to be the referee of everyone's conflict. You cannot declare war. And you can't decide that every time you go to work and every day that you go to work and your family's present that you're going to start a war. It's just not going to lead to maximizing the success of the family business. To God be the glory, you have a family business. And everyone needs to put some work in. But you got to know what your role is. You got to know who's going to operate in what role. And then you have to take one step at a time in your lane. Run your race. And here's the good news. You run the race. And even though you're a family, someone's going to run a little faster than you are. Someone's going to perform at a higher level than you are. You're going to perform at a higher level than someone else. You're going to run faster than someone else. But you're all going to cross the finish line. You're all going to cross the finish line. No one's left behind. You're all going to get to the finish line. And when you get to that finish line, you'll set another finish line. Because you want, pardon me, you want your business, your family business to pardon me, continue to grow and to continue to flourish. That has to be your goal. However, to God be the glory that God has given you all a family business that you can build together and that you could make great, to build for the future of your family. And then you have to give back. You have to be willing to give back to your community, to the society that's given you so much opportunity as a family. And even though you're not in our area, I'm going to pray for you daily, because I see the importance of what God is doing in your life. I wish that you could see what I see, but I see what God is doing in your life, in the life of your family. So I'm going to continue to pray for all of you, and that all you do will give God the glory. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. If you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. However, before I do that, this segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Nike Golf. If you are interested in the game of golf, or if you're a golfer such as myself, Go to Nike.com/golf. You will find everything that Nike has to offer for you to experience the game of golf. And if you are just in the market for athletic attire or athletic gear, go to Nike.com. They have everything that you could possibly need to enhance your health and wellness at Nike.com/golf or Nike.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are age 26. You say life has been difficult for you. You said, however, you are at the point where you would like to have children and get married. So let me make sure that we're clear about this, because language is everything. You don't want to put the cart before the horse. You say you want to have children and get married. What you've got to focus on first is getting married and then having children. Let's do it in order. And the reason is because it's better to have two parents in the household who love the Lord than it is to have one parent in the household who loves the Lord, because two is better than one. The Bible clearly tells us that. The threefold cord cannot be broken. That's you establishing a family. But we've got to take one step at a time. So let's talk about that. You're 26 now. You said you're not in your communication, you're not dating right now. You're not in a relationship. Let me rephrase that. You are dating. You said that in your communication. What you said was you're not in a relationship. And pardon me for the miscommunication. As I said, language is everything. So when we start thinking about where you are right now at 26, you're working, you've got a career, you are now focused on preparing yourself to be married. That's not just preparing yourself to be a mother, but preparing yourself to be a wife first. So, as I've talked to our listeners and viewers about this before, and I was having a conversation with my wife, and I mentioned this to her. I said, I always tell our listeners and viewers who are female and who are interested in being married, you have to prepare yourself to be a wife. You cannot just start dating someone and then date for a while and just wake up one day and decide, we're going to get married, I'm going to be a wife. That is the reason that 50% of marriages end in divorce. You have to prepare yourself to be a wife. And at 26, you have time to do that. I'm not suggesting that you can't date. What I am suggesting is that you prepare yourself to be a wife, not a girlfriend. So Proverbs 31 will tell you everything you need to do to prepare yourself, or to be prepared to be a wife, to be someone's wife. All right, let's start there. You have to prepare yourself to be a wife and open yourself, make yourself available to date someone who is a godly man, who is a man of God, who is a man who's going to stand firm on the Word of God. So that's real important. So for all of our listeners and viewers, once again, if someone asks you out, or for all of my brothers out there, men, that's why I call you my brothers, because we're men. We're men who love God. If you're going to ask someone out, so if you're going to ask someone out, or if you're going to be asked out by someone, ladies, you need to, for the women, you need to ask the man to take you to church and out to lunch. If he asks you out, he should know by now, and particularly if he's listening to our broadcast. But if he doesn't know by now because he's not a listener and viewer, then you have to show him. You have to tell him what your expectations are. Your expectations are to be taken to church and out to lunch. You're not interested in going to these fine dining establishments for dinner. You're not interested in going out for events. You're not interested in going out for social activities. You want to go to church and out to lunch. That's all you want. First Sunday, a second Sunday, and a third Sunday. You want to do that 3 times, and it doesn't have to be those Sundays of the month. It just has to, if it's the 3rd week of the month and someone asks you out, tell them you want to go to church 3 times and out to lunch. 3 consecutive Sundays and out to lunch. You want to know what they're being fed. You want to know what their understanding of the Word of God is. Is it a living word for them, or is it a coffee table book? You need to know that. You need to have a conversation with them about their relationship with the Lord. What is it that they desire? You know, people have been talking about this for decades, and we've been giving people the wrong information. The conversations have always been, you know, these are the steps you should take when you're dating. These are the games that you should play while you're dating. None of that is conducive for having a lifetime relationship and marriage with someone else. There are certain things we need to do, and they all involve the Lord. Dating should be dating with purpose. You should be on a mission. And that is, this is going to result in holy matrimony, in us being a married couple. If it's not going to result in that, you don't need to go any further. Those 3 dates, those 3 outings, going to church and out to lunch, will tell you everything you need to know about whether or not you want to pursue a relationship with that person. The problem is we do things differently. We do things based on what society has taught us to do, and then we find ourselves ending up in a relationship that we really shouldn't have been in the first place, because it was never the relationship that God purposed for our lives. With that said, church, out to lunch. And have the conversations. Listen, if you scare a man off, or men, if you're scared off by a woman asking you what's your 7-year plan, your 14-year plan, your 21-year plan, do you want to be married? Do you want to have children? How many children? If you're scared off by that and you can't stand firm and answer those questions, that's not a relationship you need to be in the first place. And ladies, if men cannot stand firm and answer those questions, you don't need to be in a relationship with them, because it's never going to end well. You know, there's the statistics of probability. The statistics of probability say if we don't do this the right way, we're going to continue with a 50% divorce rate or even higher. Why do we want to do that? Why do we want to go through that experience? We didn't know any better. So these things have been happening for decades and for generations. But when you know better, you do better. Let's try this God's way and not our way. Let's not connect ourselves to people that God never intended for us to walk this journey, this life's journey with. Let's do it differently. Let's do it God's way. And I can assure you that God's way is going to be much better than anything we could have done on our own. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Comcast Business. We all need to be more effective and more efficient in business. Comcast Business gives you the opportunity to do just that. Call Eunice at 603-222-7706. Your code is Pastor Polk. And with a qualifying bundle from Comcast Business, you will receive an $800 prepaid Visa gift card. Call Eunice at Comcast Business at 603-222-7706. Your code is Pastor Pope, and receive an $800 prepaid Visa gift card with a qualifying bundle. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers However, before I do that, this segment of the broadcast is going to be brought to you by PorscheAmerica.com. If you are in the market for a high-performance automobile, one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, go to PorscheAmerica.com, where you will have the opportunity to virtually build out the Porsche you desire to own. And if you're in our area, simply go to PorscheDelaware.com, ask to speak to Mike Didio, General Manager of PorscheDelaware.com. He will have someone assist you in selecting the vehicle, the Porsche you desire to own. And if you currently own a Porsche and you're just in need of service, go to PorscheDelaware.com, ask to speak to Mike Adams, who is the service manager at PorscheDelaware.com. He will have someone schedule an appointment for you. They will pick up your vehicle at your home or office and drop off a loaner vehicle to you and return your vehicle to you when your service has been completed at PorscheDelaware.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated you and your husband have different political perspectives. And he said it often becomes an argument because he does not appear to understand what is happening to our government. Well, here's a real simple response to that, and then I'll cover a little bit before we go off the air. You and your husband don't have to have the same political perspectives. Your perspectives about politics can differ. We all get one vote, and that's all we're entitled to. You register to vote, you cast your vote, and you live with whatever the results are. That's just the bottom line. You don't have to debate the political environment. You don't have to debate our government. All you have to do is make a decision on the candidate you want to support and cast your vote. That's all. That will eliminate the arguments. Why are you spending time on something that you don't have control of, or that hasn't even been assigned to you by God to control? The only thing you've been assigned to control is your one vote. That's it. And the rest of America gets a vote also. And those votes are collected, counted, and it is determined who the next political person is going to be that is going to rule in government. That's it. So many people spend time debating politics and their perspective, their point of view, because they want to be heard. Well, you're heard when you vote. That's it. Come on. We don't need to have a household divided over politics. Cast your vote and live with the results. You've done your part. Whatever the results are. You cannot allow what is the order of the political system to destroy your household. I mean, in your communication, you said these have become arguments. Why? Because you and your husband are only going to account for 2 votes. The rest of the country, millions of people are going to vote. And they're going to decide who's going to be in office in the halls of government. Cast your vote. Accept the outcome. And live with the results. And then pray that whoever is elected as our elected officials across the nation, that they have a heart for God and a mind for God to do the right thing that's going to move our country forward. This is a great nation, and we have to be willing to just do our part. And when we do our part, the rest we leave in the hands of God. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast, 3D, has been brought to you by Fiji Water, a Taste of Paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you will save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Have a great day today. I look forward to being in your viewing environment tomorrow. Remember, we are, for the remainder of this year, we are having our FijiWater.com sponsored promos. Go to our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com, at WKAPFaith.com. The first 3 songs you hear at 12 noon or 6 p.m., list those songs along with your name and your email address, and text them to the T-Mobile caller text line at